WW7ZYM to Ron Baker, KD7QKU. Good evening, this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net on the low 8 machine. I'm Dave, KD7ZYM. The Western Washington Amateur Television Society is a group of amateur radio enthusiasts that take to the airwaves with fast-scan television. We have a repeater located up on Cougar Mountain. We transmit on 70 centimeters. It's a crossband repeater and spits out images at 1.2 gigahertz. And again, this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. I'll pause in case anybody has emergency traffic or needs to make a message to an individual on the 08 machine before net gets fully underway this evening. Washington Amateur Television Society net on Dave, KD7ZYM. Taking a check-in this evening, we have Ron, KD7QKU, Jessica, KF7UHK, Lee, N7KC, Bert, N7CS, Bob, K9PQ, Jen, N7QO, James, WW7N, and myself, Dave, KD7ZYM. And I also see that W7ATS has checked in. Is there anybody else who wishes to check in this evening to the net? We're ahead with the net rolling. Let's start off with Ron, KD7QKU.
Dave, K9PQ, comment?
Go ahead, Bob.
Yeah, you doubled with Lee getting on Echolink. The notification came through.
Okay. We have Lee notified that he's on Echolink, so that's good. So let's go to Ron, KD7QKU.
Okay. Thank you very much, Dave. This is Ron, KD7QKU. So how's my audio tonight?
It's acceptable, a little bit low, but okay.
Okay, well, I checked it out a little bit with Richard beforehand, and I moved the antenna around a couple times. And I actually put a piece of tape on the board. Last time I put a post-it note, and wouldn't you know, Joanne came walking by, I picked it up. When I went out to move it around a little bit from where it was, the note was gone. I said, did you see a post-it note on the phone? Yeah, she said, I just picked it up. So I didn't know where it had been and where it was going. But I put a piece of yellow tape in it. Well, let's see. I don't know. So many things happen over here. My downspout, wouldn't work. I don't know if I told you guys about it or not, but it goes in this corrugated plastic pipe which goes into the ground, and the water just gushed over the top. So I've taken it apart and looked at it and installed it with wood and dirt. So I called Armando. He's the guy that fixed my sprinkler system and said, hey, you want to fix my downspout? Yep. So he came over and he dug it up, and it was as far as we could see. So he's putting in a new pipe. He had a tunnel underneath the sidewalk, and we're going to hook this is kind of on the west side of the garage. Actually, it's on the east side of the garage. We're going to hook it up with the one on the east side of the house, which is about 30 feet away. And it drains out into the gutter at the curb. So we've done hook the two together. So that's what we've been doing. So back to that. KD7QKU.
KD7QKU, Ron, thanks for that. Let's go to Jessica, KF7UHK.
It's Jessica, KF7UHK up here in Everett, and I see Bob, someone that mentioned is Bob's light looks like it's flickering. I think it's just the camera iris adjusting to whatever it's looking at. So it's actually the camera. Let's see. It is 4 minutes after the hour, and my little weather catcher says we got clouds in the sky. We had a little bit of misty rain out there, and it sure felt nice to see that. I missed another Zoom meeting earlier today because I was busy watching Shark Tank. If you've ever watched Shark Tank, that's kind of entertaining to watch people go before people to make deals to make their businesses grow. So I watched a couple of those, and somehow it just completely blew by a Zoom meeting. It was just a fun social Zoom meeting, so it's not that big a deal. Lots of people here on that tonight. I see 9 pictures here in our Zoom meeting, and that's including me. And that's a full house here. If you look at this from the Hollywood Squares point of view. Otherwise, let's see. I think I'm making some shaved beef that we're gonna cook up and a little bit of juice. Throw it on some buns tonight, toasted buns. That's what we have for dinner. I see you raising your hand. You probably like that too. So that's what I got going on here. Not much more. It's just a KF7 UHK.
KF7 UHK. I think we call that SOS, but we can't utilize that on ham radio. Let's go to Lee in 7KC in Port Angeles.
Okay, testing 1, 2, 3. Okay, I'm in. Good. In 7KC in Port Angeles. Well, all of these squares, the thing that came to my mind was laugh in. Remember how they used to open the doors and stuff and look across? Anyway. Well, I don't have much. Went to the dentist today to get a cleaning, and now I've got for some reason something they're working away doing, making some cavities, and so I get to go through that. It's not one thing, it's another. Yesterday, I got the bell up. The bell is the top is post and looks real good and all that. Nobody got hurt. I did it all by myself. I took my Hoyer lift and I reversed the column on it, and then I put some tubicures across where the wheels are and loaded it with buckets of water and a concrete mixing tub full of water, and that allowed me to counterbalance it. Then I stood the boom on the other side and tested this all out, and so that I could get the bell higher than the uprights that it needs to drop into. And it was very, very heavy, and the wheels were on dirt grass. Well, it was grass. It's now nice and brown, so it must be hard to move something. So I inched it along with the 2x4, and it was just very gentle and easy, and had Paula line it up, and then we got right over the uprights and dropped it right in. So looks pretty good. And very, very loud. So I don't have anything else. Good to see everybody tonight. I think we're having a meeting after this. Is that my understanding? Yeah, okay. All right, 10-17-2, Port Angeles. Back to you, Dave.
Yes. Lee, thanks for that. Let's see the place.
Well, I think Dave was calling me. It sounds like there was some doubling going on somewhere. I'll make this quick. It's nice to see everybody tonight. When we had that 9 or that 3x3 grid up in Zoom a little bit ago, it was funny as Jessica was saying it looked like Hollywood Squares. Lee said it looked like Latin. The thing that came to my mind was Brady Bunch. But so I don't know, maybe there's some other ones out there. But anyway, that's probably it for now. This is Burton Marysville, N7CS, back to that.
N7CS first, thanks for checking in. Then let's go to Bob, K9PQ.
Okay, well, hey everybody. Well, I'm on my tablet, so the flickering lights might be, what I was doing was I was trying to cover up the light up in the corner there to see if that would make the flickering go away. So still having technical difficulties with my computer, and so more or less audio only tonight, but I've got video going on Zoom. Let's see, and yes, we're going to have just stick around on this Zoom here after the net. Not a lot going on here. I guess kind of the big thing for me is with my gaming group, my Friday night role-playing games. We've come back around to my turn to be the game master, the person running the game, and so we're going to pick up where we left off in my game and the campaign that I run, and I'll be back, being all the bad guys, terrorizing all of my players. Okay, back to that K9PQ.
K9PQ, thanks for that, Bob. And again, for ID, this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society, not on the 08 machine, on the 87BYM. So let's go to Tacoma, W7ITL, wait.
W7ITL here in Tacoma, and looks like my video is coming through. I don't know if anybody has the ability to switch RF. Let's see here, and it looks like we do have one other person that we haven't seen on the Zoom. Welcome, Ed. I don't know if you're listening to audio as well, but welcome. Let's see. Is somebody pointing out something to me? Hold on a sec. Oh, never mind. Let's see. Anything else? Just a long day and some stuff at work that I'm just not looking forward to tomorrow that I'm dealing with. So, gonna try to get to bed early so I can be rested for tomorrow's joy. So, with that said, and I did want to comment. Congrats on the Bell Lee. It's nice that finally got installed and set up. I'll have to see some pictures hopefully in the next round or so. W7ITL, back to that.
W7ITL, wait, thanks for joining in. Let's see if Jim's with us, N7QO.
N7QO, thank you, Dave. Good evening, everyone. Good to see everyone. Don't know why I was getting a reasonable picture on the 1.2 until about 5 minutes past the hour, and now the picture that I'm receiving on 1.2 just is not so good. But I do see everyone on the stream, so good to see everyone there. Yeah, Lee, congratulations on the Bell. I know you've put quite a bit of effort into that. Ron, downspouts, I have similar problems. In fact, what I did when we replaced the roof around here, I don't know, what was it, 2 years ago or something, I had all of the gutters replaced by, quote, professionals, and they, yeah, that's okay, Jim, just leave the picture of the repeater up. I am transmitting a picture, but obviously it's not getting through to the television repeater. So anyway, sorry about that. As I was saying, there are a couple of gutters which they covered with, I don't recall the name of the product, so I won't say it for fear of slandering the wrong product. But what this does is snaps over or maybe one would better describe it as saying snapped into the gutter, and it's a shield, so it prevents the needles from going into the gutter. Well, unfortunately, let me reset. Unfortunately, the top surface of this sheltering device is not perfectly flat. Where it snaps into the gutter surface, there is approximately, it's probably less than a quarter, I'm going to say 3/16 inch indentation. So the needles come down off of my roof and onto this cover, and they cannot reach the ground because this 3/16 inch lip prevents them from doing so. So the net result is I have to clean the gutter guards more frequently than I used to have to clear the gutters. Now, as for the downspouts, I have a similar problem with that, Ron. There's a area along the house where I did not expect it would get a whole lot of needles, so I did not cover it. Well, I was wrong, but that's because consistently I would not find needles in that gutter. Well, I'm not finding the needles in the gutter because they're getting stuck in the downspout. and unfortunately I have French drains, which the downspouts empty into. So guess what? The needles go into the French drain, and the French drains can't accept water anymore. It's quite a conundrum here. So I've been messing with that for a couple of decades now. I guess it's just a problem around here. I don't know, Ron, maybe you had more luck in Bellevue, but I've had nothing but problems where I am now. Anyway, back to you, Dave, and 7QO.
It's 7QO. Oh, what a fat tail. Let's go to James, WW7ATS.
Am I one? Having quite a challenging time here with switching tonight. I don't know why it's being so stubborn. I'm getting an unusually good picture on 1.2, and Ron, your audio was fine. Bob, for some reason you're looking taller tonight. I don't know what that is, but you do. And Jessica, yeah, I think missing, a Zoom meeting is okay in the fall and winter if it's a really important TV show, especially if it's a rerun. After all, if you haven't seen them in ages, you got to set priorities. That's how my brain works after 17 months of COVID isolation. Shaved beef. Okay, I've been around a lot of livestock, and that's quite a trick. I don't know how you would get the cattle to stand still while you put the cream on them, and then start on one ear and go to the other. That's quite a trick. I don't see how you would get that done. But best of luck to you on that one. Ed, welcome. Good to see you back. Hope you come back again, and hopefully we'll hear from you tonight. Don't know if you have an audio channel in or not. Jim, on your gutter guard, yes, you had the exact same experience we had. We experimented with gutter guards, and we had pine needles, and maybe they worked fine on deciduous leaves, but all they did on the house we tried them on is it basically makes a dam of pine needles before the gutter guard, and then it rots the roof at the edge where the gutter is. So that was not a win for us on that one. And, let's see, Ron, on your missing Post-it note, I know what that's like. See, I had a really important conversation this morning. I remember I wrote it down on a Post-it note, and I just can't remember. Can't remember what the Post-it note is. Something important I was supposed to do right after I talked with someone this morning. I don't remember what it was. But anyway, I'm going to turn it back to net control to James WW7N in Northeast Bellevue.
WW7N, James, thanks for that. And again, this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, 87BYM. Here in Lake City, 62 degrees, cloudy, 75% humidity. And, oh my, I got a flu shot a couple of days ago, and man, it didn't hurt at all going in, but 4 hours later, oh man, my shoulder said hello, and then the next morning it still was saying hello, but now it's all gone away, and hopefully the flu shot in a couple of weeks will do its thing for me. So anyway, I've got that out of the way, and I'm looking forward to the Pfizer booster shot. Hopefully the CDC will okay that tomorrow, and then I can get an appointment to get that out of the way. So that's pretty much what's happening here in Lake City. This is Dave, 87BYM. And for Lee, I don't know if the volunteer fire department will show up when he rings his bell or not, but that is a possibility. Old-time fire response for volunteers is always responding to a bell in the neighborhood or in the community, and everybody rallied at the fire station. And for Jim, N7QO, I think the only out is to move. Once you move, you'll find more difficult things that you'll be tending to besides gutters at a new location, and hopefully that will be a lead thing, a movement. And let's move on down to Ed, WB2 RH2HQHS.
Go ahead, Ed. All right. Well, good evening, everybody. Richard was explaining the crazy hookup of all the various inputs to for this system. I guess a lot of the audio comes from 2 meters and then just gets rebroadcast on Zoom. With my hearing aids, I barely make out the quality of Zoom is actually quite good when you're going directly Zoom, but some of the 2 meter audio is not great here. Anyway, it's been a great day here, and I'm in Portland, Oregon. We have our Zoom meeting, since our repeater's down, every Monday night at 7 o'clock. We used to do Monday and Saturdays, and so we're still at Monday. And I know Richard joins us, and Jessica has joined us. But you're all welcome to join us at and our input Zoom password and ID are the same every year. I mean, every month, every week. So it doesn't change. So you can just print that out and join us when you can. We are at 7 o'clock Monday night. And our inputs are not that different than yours. Except we are FM video out on 210, 1200 megahertz. So it's 426 AM and output on 1257, I think now, FM, using the old satellite KU C-band receivers, and it's just great. On to FM on 1200. They kept saying it wasn't going to work, blah, 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 blah. But once they saw it, they never looked back. The nice thing about everybody being on one channel, except instead of all these other places and bringing them in, is that people can interrupt anywhere if you're all on just Zoom. But you guys have a pretty interesting setup. Anyway, this is my portable operation. It's about 2 watts with a PC electronics board on 1226 in, and it has a little 1200 FM receiver output with a LCD screen. So that's my little lunchbox mobile. We're finding a better place for our repeater, but our repeater for the longest time, 20-25 years, was up on the super tower above Portland, and we had also linked for at least 15 years to the Salem repeater in Salem, Oregon, to that club, and we used 2.4 for linking, and that worked great. And of course, that club is no longer existent, so we're in Oregon. We're still kind of by ourselves here for ATV. That's all I've got. Back to David, I guess, for I wonder if David unmuted his. Would it really be weird if the audio from 2 meters and the Zoom audio, if there's there's a big delay or something? Because I see he's got his Zoom muted, so his audio would be a lot louder if that weren't muted, but probably 2 meters and unmuting the Zoom directly might be weird with a delay there. So back to you, David, and thanks for having me, and maybe we'll see some of you on Monday night on our net. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Ed. WP2 QHS joining us from Portland. Let's go up to the top of the list to Ron, 87 QKU.
You're not making a repeater run.
Go ahead, Ron, I've got you on. Go ahead, Ron. Okay. I'm going to mute Ron because of the free feedback, or maybe he'll mute himself. Anyway, this is K7ATS. Do I have the floor? KD7ZYM, K7ATX.
K7ATX, what say you?
Well, I was just looking for, is it my turn? I guess that's the question.
You're a couple down. We'll be to you soon. Let's go to Jessica next, KF7UHK.
Okay, this is Jessica, KF7UHK. I'll make this quick with my 3 minutes worth. You know, we have some downspouts up there on Mount Briarhelms, and we have one of these rain barrels, and I really wanted to connect it to our downspouts, but so they said, no, these are kind of brand new downspouts we had put on when we bought the place. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make myself a small catch well down on the ground, and then I have an old sump pump that I'm going to have pump the water from there up into the rain barrel. So when summer comes, I'll have this nice big thing of 55 gallons of rainwater to use on plants, and I think that'll be kind of fun. Your bell, I hope it's nice and secure. Hope no one comes along and steals it, because people will steal just about anything, especially if it's big and heavy, and they can sell it for scrap metal. So just make sure you got something on that thing so people won't walk off with it. And then the last thing is I did a little flight sim today from Portland. That's another reason I missed one of my Zoom meetings. I flew from Portland to Seattle. It's only about 22 minutes on a 737 and about 105 miles. And just about after you've launched out of Portland, you can practically see your landing spot at SeaTac, and it was kind of amazing. So that was fun. But when you're coming out of SeaTac, it's always really busy on the flight sim with other airplanes coming and going. There'll be things landing in front of you, and they'll be telling you to go around, and it's really quite exciting. So with that, I'm going to pass it back to Jessica, KF7UHK.
KF7UHK, Jessica, thanks for that. We'll let you ring in Lee, M7KC.
Okay, got the system going here. I'm going to try to, okay, can you see that? Yeah, okay. Well, let's see, I don't know if I can, well, anyway, here's the upright up. These 96 inches up to this, and I needed to get that bell up to the center in here, so I re-rigged one of my Hoyer lifts here, like this. And I don't seem to be able to, I've got 2 photos here. Paula took some on her phone, but I don't know where they went. So I'll have to get them back, but that'll tell you kind of what it was like. I came at the actual bell, Air National Tractor Red, and the yoke here is John Deere Green, and the uprights are just black enamel here. And I machined the slot in this 6x6 here. There's 3 stainless steel bolts that hold the uprights in there. And the concrete goes down 22 inches in the ground and so forth. It's pretty substantial, and I'll tell you, it's going to take a pretty hefty guy to get up here and get that bell out of there. I guess if they want it that bad, they deserve it. So anyway, that's what I did. And I used all my rig there to pick it out. It worked out really, really well. I tested everything real careful before I actually put the bell up, but it was fine. So anyway, back to you, Dave, M7KC.
M7KC, Lee, thanks for that. Let's go to Bert, M7CS.
Okay, well, still not too much to talk about, but when Jessica was talking about the barrels to collect the rainwater, I got a little worried at first because I had always been told that in Washington State that was not actually legal, but I just checked it on the internet. And according to the internet, it was illegal until 2009 in Washington State, and now it's legal again. So I guess it's perfectly fine for Jessica to collect that rainwater as long as she uses it on the property that she collects it at. Otherwise, it's illegal again. But yeah, so some weird laws there. Let's see, what else was I going to say? I had something else, but I forgot it. So I'll just turn it back to the net so more people can talk. Anyway, this is Burton Marysville, N7CS, back to net.
N7CSB, thanks for that. Let's go to Bob, G9PQ.
Oh, the government gets very, very touchy about water. I'll tell you that. My parents had on their place on Lake Sammamish, they had an artesian well that actually had a positive flow. It was very slow, but it was there, a positive flow, and it was good water. And when they were redoing the sewer lines through and kind of redoing all the water, they paid my parents something to cap the well because they wanted all of that water available coming through the city and distributed however they saw fit through the city, rather than my parents just taking what they wanted. But it worked. I mean, they had no problem with it, because they then were on city water after that, and it was fine too. But I just thought that was an odd thing to have happen to them, and that kind of stuff I found out from that experience. That happens a lot because the water table is something that needs to be monitored, and the more population you have, the more important it is to control it. So I definitely understand that. Lee, very cool bell. That is awesome. That is so awesome. Yeah, I want to see the picture when it's up there in it when you get a chance to get that picture. But that looks really cool. Okay, I'll send it back to Dave. And the reason I look tall, I'm on my tablet on Zoom. I'm having various computer oddities and difficulties, and so I'm using my tablet, and the way this works is it's angled up toward me. Okay, back to that, K9PQ.
K9PQ, Bob, thanks for that. Finally, we get to Richard, K7ITX.
Turn off all my receiving equipment to avoid feedback. I'm trying to help Ed listen in. And Ed, this is a work in progress, or an experiment in progress. We still haven't figured out how to really do in a satisfactory way to pipe in our audio. Number one, it'd be nice to have, in fact, if we had decent audio on our YouTube, that would solve, maybe 80% of our issues. But that being said, we don't, at least for the time being, but it's definitely on the to-do list. I've got a couple handhelds I'm trying to hold closer to my laptop microphone. I don't know if that's any assistance or not, Ed, these additional receivers, or you?
You sound great. Your audio is coming through.
No, how about, are you hearing the other guys? Okay. Well,
can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you just fine.
Yeah, because I can hear you through Zoom. The problem is the 2-meter link.
Right. I mean, are you hearing any of the 2-meter?
Oh yeah, it's just.
Yeah.
With my hearing aids, it's just the quality is so.
Right on. All right. Right. So, well, we're going to do our best to try to fix that. In the meanwhile,
AM radio and just do it on.
And then, but Ed, the other way you can check in and get decent audio is Echolink. I don't know if you've ever done Echolink before, but I would encourage you to put it on your laptop, computer, or phone, smartphone. That would. So that is our other option for audio at times. And
What, Google Echolink and enter the node and that's it?
well, there's a couple ways, yeah. First of all, it takes a while to get Echolink set up. Well, yeah, it's sadly just to listen. It isn't super. It's an old program. It's been around a long time. Now, I did put Lee is showing us the call sign for Echolink, and I also. But then isn't it on, did I lose it on chat? I had it on chat for a while. Yeah, if you go back to the very beginning of the chat, at the very top of chat, Lee, I've got Echolink K7QJ-R and node 666887. And so yeah, if you write that down, Ed, and you get your Echolink set up. In fact, Ed, I think you have my phone number, and if you ever want to play around with Echolink, please give me a call and I'll help you out with that. I think you'll find it extremely useful down the road, and not just with this repeater, but around the entire world. And the reason why I pause and realize that our repeater will time us out after right around 3 minutes. So even while you were transmitting, I was interrupting your conversation by unkeying just to, because a lot of us are known to, well, not everybody. You see, there's me, and I think Ron does it a couple times, Lee once in a while. We tend to time it out. A couple of us are long-winded and we forget kind of going to La La Land or whatever happens. With that, KD7ZOM, K7ITX, back to net control.
K7ITX, Richard, thanks for that. Let's go to Wave, W7ITL.
Round 2 here. This is W7ITL Wave here in Tacoma. And Ed, I put a couple links in the Zoom chat. You can go ahead and download the Echolink application. There's a couple things you have to do once you download it. I don't know if anybody could try to switch me over to RF. I look like Zoom's working, but yeah, I want to see if RF is working tonight. I don't know if we're having problems switching still. But yeah, just to get back to Ed, you can download Echolink, and then once you get that downloaded, and if you're going to join us after the night, I can give you some pointers on how to get that all set up. But it's kind of like another program like All-Star. If you've ever tried All-Star, that's another one that does kind of like, an additional, if we're talking way back, it's kind of like auto patch, like when you had repeaters on auto patching, called the repeater on phone. So it does kind of like that, except it goes over the internet. Let's see, I wanted to bring up a kind of an interesting topic that I didn't know it existed until last night. I guess the film industry has this cool camera set up where you can film and then also in tandem do VCR or DVR or something like that. So I didn't know if maybe Dave can comment on that. I was looking at it on a YouTube video. I guess Tyler Systems has something like that. I don't know if you ever encountered that in your career. So with that said, I'll turn the net back, and this is W7ITL. Back to net.
W7ITL, Wave, thanks for that. Let's go on next to Jim in 7QO.
M7QO, thank you, Dave. Well, let's see. Lee, I was thinking Jessica brought up a really good point about someone attempting to steal your bill, but it looks like you've got a pretty good handle on it there. Yeah, I know in my neighborhood, believe it or not, a friend of mine 2 streets away, he had a totem pole, and this thing, I don't know how deep it was buried, but it had to have stood like 8 feet tall or more, and had these wings coming out of it,
maybe 3 or 4 feet in each direction. And guess what? Someone stole it during the middle of the night. Don't know what happened to it. And another fellow who had 2 replicas of a deer in his yard, and someone stole those too. I would have thought someone would have shot those, but no, they actually disappeared during the night. So I don't know, maybe up there in PA it's a little bit more civil, but watch out for the bell anyway. Jim, we know where your post-it note is. Thank you for that. That was pretty funny. Let's see. Jessica, what would the simulator do if you just ignored the air traffic controller? It's pretend traffic anyway, right? I used to fly one simulator and you could literally fly right through traffic. But that was, oh boy, that was during the 80s, maybe even the 70s. Anyway, there's 2 minutes. Reset. And let's see, I think Bert, you brought it up initially, and Bob, you said something. I don't know, how could they make it illegal to catch rainwater? They prefer you to drain an aquifer instead, or drain a local lake instead. How could that be a good thing? I don't quite get that. Maybe they just want the revenue from your water bill or something. I don't know. I don't get it. But glad it's not illegal anymore, because several of my neighbors are actually catching rainwater with barrels over here. Back to you, Dave, and 7QO.
And 7QO, Jim, thanks for that. And this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, QD7ZYM from ID. So let's go to James, WU7S.
Thank you, Dave. This is WW7ATS, James of Northeast Bellevue. My question for all the water catching people is, and Jessica, maybe you can answer this, what do you do with the water that is in the rain barrel that prevents it from just becoming a big hay infusion, a big slimy mess? Is it since month after month? Is it ultraviolet, or do you put a little chlorine in there, or do you just let it slime out? If you think Washington State has weird water laws, you should live in North Texas, or better yet, New Mexico. Oh my goodness. You can go ahead and dig holes in your neighbor's yard and mine gold, but you better not take that water. It is just absolutely amazing. It looks like quite an engineering project on that bell. I think, you're challenged to come up with a video now that not only has the bell ringing, but also has audio feed, so we can hear it and see it. But good job on that. I was kind of wondering how you were going to get the bell up that high, and so I see what you did. It looks like maybe an engine hoist or something that you were using. So anyway, let's see. The one thought I had, I don't know, Ed, if you can hear this or not, maybe an annoyance, but if you have an iPhone, I know, and also I think it works on Android too, if your hearing aids are connected into the iPhone, if that's how you control your hearing aids, then you can load Echo Link on the iPhone or Android handheld phone, and then open up the mic to both things, and then you get really clear audio out of Echo Link that way. But you do have to have a version of Echo Link and Android or iPhone that doesn't fight over the microphone. They have to coexist at the same time. You talk about the first simulator you were on. Now, I don't know if you remember this or not, but the first simulator I was ever around had vertical boards. And you're probably thinking vertical circuit boards. No, they were vertical boards with landscape on them. Meticulously designed landscape, and an actual little camera with a little 45-degree mirror would run over the landscape up and down vertically. So there was actually a NTSC video camera that ran over the terrain, and the terrain was accurate. They had these big giant boards in the warehouse that would actually go over various areas and be a very good representation. So that's how they did it before digital simulation was invented. Well, the last question I have, I don't know, you can think about this till next net, but color. What does F as in Foxtrot, D as in Delta, E as in Echo mean for a color? I had to look up on the internet. If anybody knows what that is, you can put it in the chat comments. But I never heard of that color before. Anyways, I guess the color's been around for at least 20 years and pretty common, but I guess I just missed that. That's F, D, E. Foxtrot, Delta, Echo. So anyway, this is James, Whiskey Uniform 7 November in Northeast Bellevue with the Western Washington Amateur Television Society. I'm going to turn it back to Dave, our net control. Take it away, Dave.
WW7M, James. Very interesting. Well, to get back into the comment on video and the motion picture industry, ever since they went to video, there's an output on the video cameras, and then they've gone to a wireless procedure to transmit that video to the directors or within 300 or 400 feet of the camera location where they're watching the recordings that are going on. And so the director can see exactly what's going on in the cameras, and they can also record that remotely as well as with the camera being recorded at the same time during the location shoot. And they had to see them before they went to video. On the film cameras, they had a splitter on the viewfinder that also connected to a video camera, and they could transmit, again, 300 feet to another source of video. And so it was an NTSC signal that came out, so you could pump that into any recording media that you wanted, and you'd have a copy of that. I don't know if that answers your question or not, or maybe I didn't get the question properly. And for Richard, I was watching the news tonight, and they were saying there's a glass shortage, but they were referring mostly to the automobile industry of glasses, but I don't know if they're having the same problem with the major glass industry for big windows and sidings and stuff. They said it was because of COVID and a lot of the glass companies sort of shut down manufacturing glass for the last 18 months, so hopefully that will get up and running again. And that's about what I've got to say there, so let's go to Ed. WB2 QHS, Ed.
W7ATS disconnected.
Let's see if we can pick up Ed.
Okay, go for it.
You're on.
Okay.
You're on the air.
Well, I'm having trouble getting full screen again. Having trouble getting full screen here again. I was in the middle of installing EchoLink on my Windows machine here in the shack. So sorry for the display. All I can see is a tiny little postage stamp of Richard, and there we go. I hit the the right button there. Now I can see everybody again. Well, I don't have a whole lot new here, but we will attempt to, once we finish installing Echolink on the computer, the links that were given to me by, I think, Wade, somebody anyway, one was a Mac link, and that's no good, and the other one was a mobile link for Android, and that was no good. So I had to just Google Echolink and do a Windows install. So we'll see how that goes, and maybe I'll be able to pick up the audio, I guess, if I'm successful here. So that's about all I've got here. I don't have the other folks in Portland. On our Monday night group, we have two of us here in Portland, one in Boise, close to Boise, and one in Australia, near Sydney. And I'm sorry they didn't join us here tonight. So maybe they'll remember. And of course, Sydney, I'm not sure what time it is at 8 o'clock in Sydney, Australia, but John is a wonderful fellow, and I'm sure you'll enjoy him. His repeater system down in Australia is quite amazing. They've got AM inputs and FM inputs, they're doing digital as well. So they're actually further along than most of us here in the United States. So with that, I'll pass it back to where the next control goes. Oh, there's David. Back to David, and thanks for having me tonight. And I'll probably, after I get the audio going, I'll probably stick around for another 5 minutes. And my wife and I have other plans for the rest of the evening, so have a great evening. Take it away, David.
WP2 QHS, thanks for joining us. Let's go up to Ron, KD7QKU.
Okay, this is KD7QKU. Can you hear me now? You're not going to believe this, but the reason you didn't hear me before is Joanne was standing in the doorway and blocking the signal. So I went to look. The antenna hadn't been moved, but Joanne was standing there, and she was blocking the signal. Well, I guess there's been a lot of interesting conversation tonight, but I guess I'll bring you up to date on our house deal. So yeah, this is kind of for it. I don't know if you can still hear us, but I moved to Tacoma, Washington. We formerly lived in Bellevue, Washington, and so we've been selling our house up there. And so I guess it's the developer that bought the property, and they called me first of the week and said he was anxious to close the deal, and said, would we mind moving the closing date if it was going to be, I think, the 30th, and I said, no, fine with me. So we signed the papers today, and we get the money maybe tomorrow, Friday, so it's all over and done. So that was good to get that completed. I guess he's in a hurry to bulldoze the house down to start building a new one, I don't know. But anyway, that's it. So I'll see you guys later on Zoom. So back to that, KD7QKU. And nice to see you, Ed, down there in Portland.
KD7QKU. Ron, thanks for that. Let's go to Jessica, KF7UH6.
Oh, we got two things here. The water with the slime in it will go for $1 a bottle. And flight simulator, it's really quite extensive. If you don't talk to the air traffic controller, you can do almost anything except for running it into things like airplanes or buildings on the ground or telephone poles. But if you talk to air traffic controller, it will want you to respond when it calls you back, and it will tell you, okay, you're cleared for landing now, and I'll have to respond. If I don't respond, it will say, did you hear me? And it will keep on asking me until it finally will get mad and say, I'm canceling air traffic control services for you. If you land without clearance, it will get mad at you and say, you didn't have clearance to land. It's really quite mean. And if you are on IFR, instrument flight rules, if you don't change fast enough, it tells you increase your altitude or decrease it. And if you don't, or change your direction, if you don't do it quick enough, it will get mad at you and it will cancel your air traffic services. So it's really quite. It keeps you on your toes, actually, if you're talking to air traffic, and I always use it because it makes it more fun to have realism. and like when it told me to go around, if I had landed without getting that clearance, it would have yelled at me. Along with that, probably would have landed on the airplane that was trying to take off in front of me. Anyhow, it's 56 minutes after the hour. I'm going to say 73, and I'll see you all on the meeting right after this. This is KS7 UHK.
KS7 UHK, let's go to Lee, M7JC.
Okay, am I on? You working? Okay, it's working. I always have to ask. All right, I was going to show one more quick photo here. And this will show you what the rig was I used. I have two Hoyer lifts. These are medical lifts. I do have a large engine hoist as well, but I use these all the time. And you can rotate the column 180 degrees. So if you cantilever it like that, you got to counterbalance it back on the end. And I extended the boom up there with a Schedule 80 stainless steel pipe. Even that is bending, as you can see a little bit. I mean, flexing it. So I tested all this very carefully before I raised it. And the higher you raise the bell, the vectors, the forces resolve into smaller on the actual pull. So I was able to inch it up there with that railing there and move it up right very, very carefully, an inch at a time, and had it just right, and then hydraulically just lower that thing in. And I want to see somebody get that out. I do. All right, that's it from here. 7KC, back to you, Dave.
M7KC, Lee. Thanks for that. Let's go to Bert, M7CS.
Okay, well, yeah, I was trying to see if there may have been another alternative to see about doing something about the audio. So I had this bright idea, well, maybe there's one of these web SDR websites I can go to and find somebody that's in the Seattle area and listen to them. But it looks like most of those web SDR's websites cut off around 30 megahertz. So I couldn't find any around here that did VHF. But so that idea I seem to have struck out on. But yeah, what might be easy to do at some future point is to get a little adapter for the computer, like a little USB adapter that will get a line-in input from the radio right into the audio for Zoom. Something like that could work. But so I'll have to check that out. And we're coming up to time, so I guess I'll say 73 to all. And good night. This is Bert Marysville, M7CS. Back to that.
M7CS, thanks for that. And we have a final from Bob, K9PQ.
Okay, yeah, Lee, I hear what you're saying about the bell, but I would still be tempted to try and do something to lock it down. I mean, people can be pretty motivated. I think that is awesome. I really love it, and looking forward to seeing it in person. Okay, 73, back to net, K9PQ.
K9PQ, could have fun with a chainsaw. Oh well. Again, this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net. I'm Dave, KD7ZYN. We'd like to thank the owners and operators of the 08 machine, the CTAC Repeater Group, for allowing us to utilize the 08 machine for our voice transmissions during our video nets held on Wednesdays and Saturdays between 8 and 9 o'clock. So on behalf of the Western Washington Amateur Television Society, this is Dave, KD7ZYN, terminating the net at 9 o'clock. Good evening all.
This is KD7QKU. Can you guys hear me? Okay, another thing you can do, Bert, is a scanner. So on a scanner, I can listen to the CSRG net, 146.960. So I don't know if you can listen to this one or not, but I can listen on my phone on a scanner. I have a scanner app on my phone, and I can listen to that wherever. All right, 87UK on this side.
7KC disconnected.